Hey guys, welcome to Ready Up episode 19. My name's Josh Davis, aka Groucharoo, aka Grouchopotamus, aka Groucharino, and I'm the competitive events manager at ArenaNet. Today I'm joined by shoutcaster ChroNick, and we're going to be talking about the winners of the second and third Tournament of Legends. We'll be talking about the upcoming Tournament of Legends that's going to be this weekend, and we'll be talking about gamescom, which he'll be helping me cast next week in Cologne, Germany. We're also going to talk about my recent trip to ChinaJoy with the PvP team and how we got #wrecked against the Chinese team. And then towards the very end of the show, we're going to be previewing the Thief and Warrior balance changes with Mr. Karl McLean. So before we get rolling, just going to do a quick competitive community update. Just some recent tournaments have happened in the community run by organizations such as Miss PD and ESL. Just to reiterate this point that I do every week, these are great opportunities for you guys to get involved in the competitive scene in Guild Wars 2. Next week is a great opportunity. Even more so, just because most of these tournaments won't be streamed, but they'll still be going on. So if you're concerned with, getting dismantled on stream in front of everyone, it won't really be a concern. So you can go in, practice, and, either win, do awesome, or just get completely destroyed, and no one will ever know about it. So for the ESL 5v5, for last week, I believe, that's going to be 55 HP Monks. For the ESL 2v2, that's Team Bird is the Word. Miss PD 5v5 is I'll Find People If It Happens. Miss PD 2v2 is Zombie COC. And then this week was Cheese Mode in ESL 5v5. ESL 2v2 was Re-Wreck You Pay. Miss PD 5v5 is I'm Bad at Team Names. And for the Miss PD 2v2, it was Royal Paninis. So I'm going to bring my friend ChroNick in here. We're going to talk about the Tournament of Legends. Are you with me, sir?
Yes, I am.
Hey, how's it going?
Oh, good.
So thanks for joining me. And again, like I said before, ChroNick will be joining me at Gamescom along with Jebro, and we'll be casting the All-Stars tournament live from the showroom floor. Pretty exciting stuff. We'll also have Chap, me and Chap reuniting once again after PAX last year for another epic casting duo. Should be lots of fun. So you casted Tournament of Legends last week. You've done it every weekend, right?
Yeah, so far, at least the EU portion.
So has there been anything that's been really exciting? Anything that's surprised you?
Well, so far we've, most of the time had the teams at least in the semifinals, and most of the time also the winners were at least somewhat predictable. We had some differences in the individual qualifiers. For example, the first and second had some strong team in it. The third has been, there were only really two properly strong teams in it. Mm-hmm. So we had a little bit of a lighter bracket, a bit more of a chance for, not so experienced teams to get a bit further in the tournament. So
to speak on that, actually, so 2 weeks ago, coming out of the Tournament of Legends Qualifier 2, we had Team Megalodon confirmed, which is an epic name, and Team No Clue from NA. And then for EU, we had Team Mist and then Enhanced Gaming. And then this last weekend for NA, we had Apex Prime and Outplayed by Children, both two very strong teams. And then from EU side, we had Team Exaltation, which I believe is Xerx's team? No, it's not. That's Enhanced, sorry. So there's Team Exaltation and then Wacky's Wicked Wang Gang. Is that right?
Wiggies.
Wackies. That's close.
Also called WAG to make it a bit easier.
Yes. Well, we like to do things the hard way.
Why not?
Yeah. So, like I was saying, did you find anything interesting coming out of the third qualifier?
Yeah, I have to say that Husaria, a team which had a couple of tries in the ESL Weekly before, but never really made it past the quarterfinals, managed to get in the semifinals in this bracket, so I was a little bit surprised about that because I haven't heard that much of them.
So on the gameplay side, so this is something that was brought up in the State of the Mists that happened yesterday. If you guys haven't caught that, you can find a link to it on the forums. The crew over at DPS are doing kind of a State of the Game rehash. In that show, there's actually a mention about how teams are moving towards more of a skirmish/roaming kind of comp. A lot of teams opting not to use bunkers. Did you notice that at all in the third qualifier?
It wasn't so prominent in the third qualifier. We had a bit more of an experience with that in the last ESL Weekly Cup yesterday.
Cheese mode, right?
yeah, cheese mode. They kind of pride themselves on managing to get rid of the normal bunker guardian in their combination, and kind of try to solve the lack of condition removal with just 2 elementalists and also an elixir gun on the engineer.
Do you think it's something that will become a bit more mainstream?
Well, seeing as how they pretty much dominated the cup, although some people might say they didn't have the strongest of opponents, but they had pretty strong people in there. We might see it a bit more, especially at the double elementalist.
It's a bit more high risk, though, right?
The
running without a bunker guardian. Would you say it's more high risk, more of like a high skill?
Not really.
No.
Not really high risk at all, because one trend I've seen lately is that in team fights, lots of teams now try and focus the guardian just to get him out of the team fight immediately. And if they manage to get him down, then there's a lot of res, a lot of stomp potential gone, as well as condition removal. And with the kind of they somewhat don't like to be called tanky, but kind of bunkery setup that Cheese Mode is running, they have bunkers on every node at all of the time, at the entire time, bunkers somewhere. So it's difficult for the rest of the team to get a node, and due to the fiery greatsword and the elementalist in general, and also the not bad mobility of warriors, they can move around really quickly. So I'd say it's a bit more safe, to be honest.
So I think this will be a nice segue into talking about gamescom, because we're going to see, I guess, 2 different styles of comps kind of clash there. Before we go there, guys, just so you know, the qualifier 4 for Tournament of Legends is going to be this weekend. That'll be EU on Sunday, and then NA will be, or EU on Saturday and NA on Sunday. So make sure to check that out. ChroNick, will you guys be casting that this weekend?
Yeah. Well, I'm going to be casting the German again.
Right. All right.
German
Sounds good.
punch.
And then, again, next week we'll have you at Gamescom, which, again, nice segue into this. So we have our All-Stars. We announced them last week, and I've heard these guys have been practicing quite a bit. The NA team, there was no Bunker Guardian voted in, so they have a very DPS-oriented comp, right? They've got K-Pud playing, I believe he's playing DPS Guardian right now. You have Phantaram, Zeus both playing Elementalist. You have SubQD playing Thief or Mesmer, and you also have Zombify playing Necromancer, versus Team Mist, which is much more, I would say, a traditional team comp. And so I was talking to the NA guys, and they feel that they feel pretty confident against Team Mist, actually.
Well, I've heard a couple of things about the NA team, and one particular strategy, which I'm not going to talk about what exactly it's going to be, because I don't know if they actually want to talk about that openly.
Did I spill out the beans?
No, they have a bit of a tactic to get rid of some people, and I'm not entirely sure that's going to work.
So you're feeling pretty confident behind Team Mist then? Is that just like your EU loyalty?
Well, EU loyalty or being realistic. Just a little bit of a bash to the NA guys.
I felt it. I saw.
I would actually hope to be proven wrong. I would love to see NA guys, well, being better than I think they're gonna be. I would actually love to see them beat EU. I don't really have that much loyalty on that part. I rather want to see interesting matches, especially for the All-Star tourney. Just some close games would be brilliant.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I heard that there's been some partial rosters of the NA team playing on EU lately, and they've faced some very good teams and had some good results. I know the NA team had some rough patches there at the very beginning when they were trying to figure out what they wanted to do with their comp, and whether or not they wanted to run like a Steph Elementalist, if they wanted to run Dagger, if they wanted to run Scepter Dagger. Just kind of going through the various iterations of the comp, trying to find what was best that worked for them. But I think they feel pretty comfortable with what they have now, so it'll be interesting to see what they come up with at the end.
Yeah, that's going to be very interesting.
So,
I don't know, are you sure about K-Pud being on DPS guard?
I believe that was it. Oh well, I believe that's what he was going to run. Did you have a different idea?
Again, I don't know.
If we don't want to talk about it. Health Seth is probably listening. I know he's listening.
Yeah, they might want to have a secret plan there, and I probably shouldn't talk about it then.
So the wild card for the tournament is the Chinese team, and I had the opportunity to play them last week. The PvP, part of the PvP team and myself went to Shanghai. We went to ChinaJoy. And I've got some pictures from our sweet trip here if we want to flip over. And I'll talk a little bit about our experience and then also just how badly we got #wrecked. Oh, look at this beautiful Shanghai. The skyline. Sun setting in the background. The skyscrapers into the clouds. Okay, go on to the next one. Anyway, so this is the booth. I thought it was really cool. They had some teams came out. There was KOA is kind of like an all-female team. They had play one of the other teams from China. It was pretty fun. And I got some other pictures here. Oh, look. There's everyone that went. So myself there on the left. We've got James Smith, our producer for China. Jenny Yang. Darren Claypool in the middle there. He's our PvP map designer. We've got some cosplay people here. That's Mike Z in the background with the silver hair. The silver fox. And then you got Hugh on the side over here and John Corpening. He's the associate director in charge of competitive. Let's go down here again. This is us engaging in very, just great conversation with the Chinese players. Jenny had to translate everything for us, so it was kind of interesting. Some sweet Guild Wars 2 pride from the crowd here. And that was the booth. So I was actually really excited by the booth. They had like 30 stations for Guild Wars 2, and then just the nice stage here, the big screen in the background. And this is what it looks like when you're losing horribly. This is the face you make. We, I don't want to tell the story because I don't want to call them out, but I was feeling pretty good about the tournament because before it started, I really thought we had a chance. I dueled. We all had like generic names in the map, so I didn't know who was who, and I dueled this warrior, and I assumed he was from the Chinese team, and I destroyed him. It felt so good. I was like, guys, I looked at everyone, and I was like, we've got this. It's gonna be so easy. It turned out that it was someone on my team, and we got shreked. That's pretty bad. So I'm looking forward to see what the Chinese team can do. I think they're kind of the wild card here. We haven't really seen them play. I know they're doing the Tournament of Legends right now, and having the finals. So again, I'm kind of excited to see what they can bring. Anyways, this is me in one of the interview rooms looking very serious. This is my resting face. And here's Spider-Man playing with himself. Extra added bonus image. That's the end of the slideshow. All right, so yeah, again, Chinese team, big wild card here. Shout out to Kong Jung for hosting us last week. It was a great time. ChinaJoy is insane. So many people. It's kind of just mind-blowing, mind-boggling.
Am I supposed
You're supposed to just nod. Team? Just say like.
Just nod.
Just nod. Thank you. Okay. Thank you. So, you feel very strongly about the EU team?
Well, yes, they have the added bonus of actually being a team already.
That is going to be a big. That's going to be a big boon.
Yeah, that's going to be a big bonus. And with the Chinese team, I gotta say, I tried to just get a bit of information on them and try to, desperately manage my way through Chinese websites, which is fairly difficult, even with the Chrome
translate to English
translation of them.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting. I mean, the game hasn't been out in NA or in China nearly as long as it has in NAEU. A lot of those players are actually from NA originally. They played on NA servers when Guild Wars 2 came out, so a lot of them actually have been playing for a very long time. So I think there's definitely some hope there, and it'll be interesting to see how they evolve in the coming months.
Yeah, you just can't immediately say how they will perform because, we on the NA or EU side haven't seen much of them.
Absolutely. All right, so again, you can catch ChroNick this weekend. He'll be casting the Tournament of Legends Qualifier 4, and again, he'll be at Gamescom next week, and then I'm assuming you'll be casting the Tournament of Legends Championships after that, right?
Yeah, of course.
All right, sounds good. Well, guys, we're gonna be it's gonna be an exciting week at Gamescom. Not only for the people that are gonna be at the event, all the All-Stars coming out. Really looking forward to meet all the guys, but there's gonna be other exciting stuff as well. So definitely make sure to tune in, and you can find more information on the tournament on the Guild Wars 2 website. So a quick note before we play the highly anticipated video that I know you guys are all looking forward to right now and probably yelling at me in chat like, Grouch, just watch the video, please. The sound is a little bit quieter, so I'll give you an opportunity to turn it up just a tad bit. It's not bad. It's not as bad as last time though. It's not as bad as last time. So just a little heads up. And again, all the changes in here are a general idea of what we want to do, but we are absolutely open to feedback on the changes. So if you see something that just absolutely blows your mind or whatever, please let us know about it. The reason we're doing it in these the broken up segments is so that we can actually go through and read the feedback from you guys, because it really does matter to us. So again, watch the video, soak in the changes and then jump on the forums and let us know what you think of the changes. And we'll see if we can make changes according to what you guys feel, or we'll go from there. So the high-level message is that these changes are tentative. And turn up your volume. Play the clip.
Hello and welcome to episode 2 of The Skill Bar. My name's Karl McLean, designer here at ArenaNet, and here today we are going to talk about the Thief and the Warrior changes. First off today, let's talk about the Thief. To start, we'll talk about the trait changes. Panic Strike. We felt that the duration of immobilization was a little bit too long on this trait, being as it would be 5.25 seconds or something like that baseline when you equipped it. So we have reduced the duration of immobilize from this trait from 5 seconds to 2.5 seconds. Likewise, we have also reduced the cooldown from 30 seconds to 20 seconds, meaning you'll be able to use it more often, but it'll have a little bit less effectiveness against a single target. Invigorating Precision. We felt that this trait was somewhat underperforming, being it was only 5% of your outgoing critical hit damage. So this trait has been increased from 5% to 8% of your critical hit damage, returned as health to you. Ricochet. So in addition to bouncing your pistol shots, this trait will now increase the range of your pistol shots, meaning that you'll be able to take the max range of your pistols from 900 to 1050. In addition, there's been some bug fixes to how Ricochet works. There is some odd bugs on how the bounces occurred, so it'll bounce a little bit more reliably now. Assassin's Equilibrium. The amount of stability this trait grants has been increased from 1 second to 1.5 seconds. Venomous Aura. The way that this trait functions has been slightly altered. Previously, if you applied venom to an ally, they applied conditions as though they were their own. So like Torment from the warrior that you gave the aura to would apply it through the warrior's condition stats, which when there are things like berserkers, you don't get a whole lot of condition damage out of it. Now, when you use Venomous Aura, you're going to be using your own stats. Similarly, healing effects such as Skelk Venom or Leeching Venoms will also use the Thief's healing power. Basilisk Venom, however, remains as an interrupt through the target you have applied the venom to. So a Mesmer using halting strikes and actually getting an interrupt with the venom will still apply their halting strike. Now let's move on to some weapon skills. First off, let's talk about the Thief's Dagger set. Double Strike, Wild Strike, and Lotus Strike will now hit up to 2 targets. Previously, the weapon set could only hit 1 target, and it was a little bit difficult when it came to fighting like pets or in areas where you need to attack multiple things at once. So the offensive portions of these skills will apply to all enemies struck, while the defensive measures such as endurance gain from Wild Strike will only apply once. Black Powder. The intervals of this skill have been increased from 1 to 2 seconds, while the duration of the blind applied has been decreased to 2 seconds. Note that the projectile still applies 2 seconds of blind. Unload. The cast time of this ability has been reduced from 1.75 seconds to 1.5 seconds for an overall 20% reduction. In addition, your Ambush Trap and Thieves Guild summoned creatures will also have this same reduction. Choking Gas. This ability now has a small strike when impacting the ground, meaning that when you're in stealth, when the ability hits the ground, you'll be brought out and revealed. In addition, however, you'll be able to do things like apply your on-crit procs or your venoms to enemies with this ability. Flanking Strike. So the initiative of Flanking Strike and Larcenous Strike have been altered slightly. Flanking Strike has gone up from 3 to 4 initiative cost, while Larcenous Strike has gone down from 2 to 1 cost. Also, Flanking Strike now requires a hit in order to turn over to Larcenous Strike, meaning that you can evade multiple times, but it will cost you a bit more in initiative. And that's it for the Thief today. On to the Warrior. We've reworked how the Warrior uses their adrenaline. Currently, your adrenaline is only ever consumed if you hit your skill. So like if you miss and eviscerate, you don't worry because 8 seconds later or 10 seconds later, it's going to be up again. We have changed how this functionality works, meaning that if you miss your adrenaline and dump skills, your burst abilities, you will lose your adrenaline. Additionally, your adrenaline will now decay the moment you leave combat. So it's more beneficial for you to actually use your adrenaline skills instead of carrying your adrenaline from fight to fight. Let's cover a couple of the trait changes. Rousing Resilience will now give you up to 8 seconds of bonus toughness, up from its previous 4 seconds. Brawler's Recovery will now remove a single condition on weapon swap rather than just the blind condition. The Warrior's Greatsword has seen a couple of changes into where its damage is placed. 100 Blades has been reduced by 5% for the initial strikes, with the final strike of 100 Blades remaining the same. Whirlwind Attack has also seen the same 5% damage reduction. With that being the case, you will see a new rendition of Arcing Slice. This ability is more executioner style now, in that it will deal damage to 5 targets in an area, and it will deal bonus damage to enemies that are below 50% health. Signet of Rage. The boon duration of this ability has been reduced by 5 seconds, meaning that your Fury, Might, and Swiftness is only going to last for 25 seconds base, whereas the adrenaline gain has been increased by 50%, meaning you're going to be getting a little bit more adrenaline every time the Signet pulses. Bleeding Shot. This ability no longer bleeds enemy targets and has been renamed to Fierce Shot, which has a 20% damage increase and will give you extra adrenaline strikes when you hit an enemy that is suffering from vulnerability. Whirling Axe, your axe offhand number 5 skill. The damage of this ability has been increased by 17%, and the cooldown of the ability has been reduced to 15 seconds. Pulverize. This is the 3rd strike of your mace combo, and it's had its cast time reduced by 25%. Impale. This offhand sword skill previously had 100% and over 100% uptime of Torment. We felt like this was a little bit too much for the ability, and we have reduced the overall duration of Torment from 12 seconds to 8 seconds. Signet of Might. We've changed the way that Signet of Might makes your attacks unblockable. Instead of 5 attacks of being unblockable, you'll now have 6 seconds to deliver as many unblockable attacks as you can. Berserker Stance. Previously, this stance gave just a little bit under 5 full bars of adrenaline, which is a lot. This effect has been reduced by about 40%, meaning you're going to be able to get about a full 3 bars of adrenaline during the course of this stance. Banners. We've altered the sprint ability for all banners to no longer give an attack at the end of the sprint. Instead, you're going to move both crippled and chilled effects and sprint forward a certain distance. Rampage. We wanted this ability to feel a little bit more like you're a juggernaut when you enter that transform state. So we have reduced the amount of incoming physical damage you can take by 25%, meaning that all strikes that you take are going to be reduced. And then all incoming chilled, crippled, and immobilized conditions are going to be reduced by another 33%. So meaning that if you have Dogged March and this ability, you're going to be suffering from almost no movement impeding conditions. We've also increased the velocity of Throw Boulder, so that it'll be a little bit easier for you to land a stun against ranged enemies. Alrighty guys, that does it for this segment of the skill bar. Be sure to join us next time for more balance updates.
Alright guys, welcome back. So hopefully you enjoyed that segment of the skill bar. That is the second episode of it. We have 4 total episodes, so we have 2 more coming up, again, with each episode containing 2 professions. We're going to play it for you guys one more time so you guys can catch some of the changes that you might have missed. But I think that's about all from me today. Once again, big shout out to ChroNick for coming on and talking about the Tournament of Legends, Gamescom, and ChinaJoy with me. And then a big shout out to Mark K, our community coordinator, for putting the show together. And again, of course, Karl for being the guy behind all the changes and generally being a badass. Didn't mean to say that. Whoops. Anyways, so we're going to play Skill Ball one more time, guys. We'll catch you next time. That'll be in 2 weeks right here. We'll be showing you 2 more professions.